Sorry, bud, did I hit you in the face? My bad. Here you are. It's been a while since I've been on too. I've been sitting, not going live because I felt like I needed a break. So I took a break. I hope everyone's 2022 has been not too displeasing. But as we know, a new year is just an old year in a rather commercial disguise, isn't it? I have some bread sitting in there. It's bread that I didn't really follow a recipe for. I think I used about 260 grams of bread flour with 108 grams of rye flour, plus I threw in some flax seeds, chia seeds, black sesame seeds, and I asked Aaron, do you want some black pepper cracked in there? And he said yes. So we added that along with salt and then some sugar and then some really, really expired yeast mixture. This is a combination of yeast that I found at Mom's house. It was sitting on her kitchen shelving at room temperature, and it's combined with this mistake yeast mixture that I made in late 2017, I believe. I was measuring out like a brioche dough recipe in a restaurant I was working at, and then I was like, oh fuck, the scale wasn't tailored, and I was like, well, this is a mess, and I didn't want to waste all of the ingredients, so I just put it away in a jar. And I was like, I hope nobody saw me do that, but I'm going to take it home and I'll use it someday. And here we go, 4 years later, using it. I also have some cracker dough that I'm going to roll out, and I'll try to proof the bread in the cast iron now, and I'll try to bake it, but Aaron and I have been trying to go to sleep earlier, and so I will be logging off promptly at 10. We might catch a movie then, but just wanted to say hi. Hope y'all are doing okay. Here we go. Thingy-majiggies. Yes, a lack of storage. We shall be on the drying room for now. Here is what our bread looks like. Kind of poofy. This is a pretty wet, hydrated dough. I think I put in like 240 or 260 grams of water. I was going for like a 67, 68% hydration, but then I forgot that I also had a bit of water in the yeast mixture, and so when I added the yeast mixture, it pushed it over to like 340 grams. So this might be pretty close to like, I don't know, 90% hydration. It's pretty wet. I basically treated it like a sourdough. It's been bulk fermenting since 3 p.m.-ish, and I kind of like lift and folded it about every 30 to 50 minutes, about 40 minutes in between each fold. It's been folded about 4 times. And we'll just plop it into a cast iron and put some oil in there and let it proof while we bake our crackers, and hopefully by the time I end this live, we'll have something to look at. No promises, but ooh, Freddy, their toys are gonna kill me. Boop, 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 boop. Do, 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 do. Aaron, do you know where the olive oil that I bought before? What?
No.
Oh, it's here. Let's see when these were produced. Let's see if we should use our, well, best before August 2022, but I have no idea when it was made. How about this one? Lot number 1130-80-121. Best before July 2022. Well, I guess we'll open one of those. So I don't really know what kind of bread I'm going for here. I'm just gonna oil it really well. I might throw some seeds. Do you like seeds on the bottom of your bread?
Sure.
Okay. I already have flax and chia and sesame in the dough. I wonder what would go well. What do you think, Fred? What do you want on the bottom of this? I might just use more flax, honestly. Flax on the bottom of bread is pretty good. Pretty decent. You think so, Fred? I don't know if I have cornmeal.
I don't need to do it.
I personally don't like cornmeal on bread. That is focaccia like. Cornmeal on bread is like Italian bread. Like lighter, more fragilely crusty. The camera will not face you in 10 seconds. You're safe. As always, can I turn it back up?
Yeah.
I like to taste the dough in its raw stage. Bagels are one of those things I don't intend on making at home, ever. The production process is way too intense. Hi, Naz. Ooh, that black pepper in there is spicy. I hope you enjoy it. The dough is quite cold. But once we turn the oven on for the crackers, I'm sure it'll actually have to get moved off of the stovetop because it'll just get proofed way too fast. I really missed. You know what I should have put?
Mhm.
Thyme.
Thyme. Is that working bread?
Yes, I think so.
Nice.
But we don't have to do it.
Don't worry about it.
Raw dough is safe to eat if you're not immunocompromised, but it is not 100% safe to eat because there is always the possibility of foodborne illnesses. These flours are made in huge facilities with lots of moving parts and lots of grubby hands, and especially in the time of pandemic, probably not great to eat raw things, but YOLO.
Somebody's telling you raw flour.
I ate raw dough just to taste it. I'm also just smearing all of the olive oil on my hands and arms because I am very dry this season. I feel like all of my lives could be a cook along with me. Ooh, are you gonna eat an activated almond now?
I'm not very activated, it was just a couple hours.
Oh.
I think
Is
it's
that
something
soft enough for you?
You tell me.
They look pretty activated. If their skins can be rubbed off, they're activated enough. I don't want to taste it.
It's softer than original, which is
Cool.
what I was looking for.
That's a lot of oil. All right. On to the crackers. This is a sourdough discard cracker dough. Roughly following along, if you go to Delish or if you just Google Delish sourdough discard crackers, you might find the recipe. I did it for one of the holiday budget eats, but it's like just use whatever flours you have on hand, and use whatever seeds you want, and that's about it. No
That
rules.
focaccia looks beautiful too.
Thank you. I hope it tastes beautiful too. In my cracker dough, I have millet, black sesame, chia seed, flaxseed, and some cranberry seeds that Ocean Spray sent me like last winter that I never used.
Would you like?
Ooh, yogurt lid, yes please.
Which honey would you like me to use? I don't care which one.
You can use maple. Why don't you use the maple?
Maple syrup?
Mhm.
Okay.
You can use any maple syrup we have on here. I think you like maple
Mrs.
syrup.
Butterworth's?
Well, you can use that too. I think you like maple syrup more than I like maple syrup.
I think I do.
So, yogurt lit time. Stovetop clean because it's made of a material that is pretty non-staining. As we know, all men are not created equal, as is the case with stoves.
Who said they're not?
All men are not created equal.
Wow, June with a strong anti-Martin Luther King Jr. stance.
You know, MLK dead too, so.
Damn. Well, June's been canceled, everybody. That's it.
Canceled for speaking the truth that nobody wants to hear? Sure. That's fine. I think my chat is frozen. This batch is not from the Budget Eats episode, but the rough recipe is from that episode. The recipe that isn't a recipe, rather. All right, we shall turn. Do you want your tea, sir?
Yeah.
We'll turn our oven to 320. Let's do 335. Why not? Why do we always stick to 325 or 350? Why not the in-between numbers? Especially if you have a digital.
Can you set it to?
Yeah, especially if you have a digital one. If you have a dial one, then just dial it between 325 and 350. If you have a digital one, then just set it. It goes by increments of 5 usually. Down with the tyranny of whole quarter numbers. Fred, what's new in life? Do you want to tell the camera? Aaron, do you want me to roast any almonds?
Sure. As long as you're baking.
What?
Sure, as long as you're baking.
Yeah, I figured. Roasty almonds are tastier. I'll just put it in there while it preheats. And by the time it preheats, should be good. Oh no, this cracker dough is very dry. I am afraid we won't have crackers. We might just have a crackery crumble again. Jesus, what is it with me and underhydrating my doughs? It's quite sad, actually. It makes me very sad. Ay, ay, ay. What happened with Grandma? Grandma's old. Nothing more than old age happened to her. You have to be more specific with your questions if you are expecting an answer. I should really get a spray bottle that can put some water evenly across dry doughs like this. That would be very useful, actually. Oh yeah, this is not gonna work. Well, wouldn't be alive without some serious mess ups. Yeah, she's been in a facility since October, y'all. think I just like chucked her away over a bridge. Okay. Well, we will bake one batch where it is just a complete disaster of a crumble, which wouldn't matter much because that's how I eat them anyway. I guess don't underhydrate your dough like I do. I will still brush some olive oil all over and season it with a little sprinkling of salt. Let's use Mom's table salt. Normally I would go flaky, but fine salt is oh so great. Fine salt is kind of what they use on like commercial wheat thins anyway too. It's all like powdered seasoning mixes, so that should be good. And I'm just gonna chuck it in. Why wait for the oven to preheat? We're already doing everything wrong, so. Wonder what would happen if I just like put some water in the Ziploc now. This is terrible. This is like a terrible idea. Again, do not do anything that I do on these lives. These are just for entertainment's sake. Like horrible ideas all around. Oh, and it's leaking. Okay, the bag is leaking. Got it. Look, the water's turning milky in the bag. Can you see it? Gross. Okay, let's check on the timer. Oh, we still have 4 minutes on 10 minutes, so I'm gonna roast the almonds until they're there for 10 minutes. Errol, what movie do you think we're gonna watch?
Maybe The Nice Guys.
Ooh, fun. This is the grossest cracker dough I've ever handled. Would not recommend this technique. Please just use a recipe. The Nice Guys, Aaron said. We've been getting into like a pattern of trying to get ourselves to bed early. just for our mental health and physical health and like general overall well-being. And one way that is useful for me, I don't know how useful it is for Aaron, is like we set a bedtime like midnight. You know, we're not trying to be like excellent model self-care citizens by going to bed at 10 just yet. Maybe one day that'll happen for us. But we'll pick a time like midnight, and then we'll go ahead and we'll set a 2-hour movie to start viewing at 10. That way once the movie ends, we'll just go to sleep. And then we basically have each other to hold the other accountable without it being like a chore. Like a movie is supposed to be an enjoyable thing. So yesterday we didn't do it and we ended up going to bed at like 1:30 or 2. So today we're back watching a movie. I'm also gonna put that cracker dough on the oven. Well, maybe not directly on the oven. That seems like a bad idea in plastic. Right here. And then maybe it'll warm up a little bit more. If we go to bed at 2, we wake up, if we have work, at the time we need to wake up for work, which is usually like 7:30 or 8. And if we don't have work, which I didn't, because Hearst is observing New Year's on a Monday because it tended to fall on the weekend, then I woke up at like 9:30 today. I try to get 7 hours of sleep. That seems to be like a minimum for me, but unfortunately when I'm not good about self-care, I usually average about 5.5, 6. Did anyone watch The Lost Daughter? I just saw that yesterday. Curious to know if other people liked it. It has Olivia Colman and Dakota Johnson, yes. And it's adapted screenplay written and directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. So very female-led movie. I also felt kind of meh about it, but like I also didn't dislike it enough to not finish it. I kept pausing and coming back to it, and I sort of enjoyed that experience because it felt like the movie didn't seem addictive, and it was a good thing that it didn't seem addictive, and it seemed to hold something. I don't know if substantial is the right word, but it seemed to hold something that made it feel worthy of staying with it. Quite an interesting effect. I don't know if I've seen very many movies that I was like, I don't love you, but also I don't mind you. I think I watched it in 3 or 4 segments. Do you want it dark roasted or light?
Me?
Yes.
Well, I like a nice, moist, chewy dough inside.
No, Aaron, the almonds.
Oh, okay. What you're talking about, the brie. I don't know. Don't you usually eat the roasted ones?
Do you want roasted?
You can do them however you want. I'll eat some, but I'll probably do more of the raw almonds. I'll keep activating them. Like when it phase.
My cracker's fucked up.
Oh, so Johnson,
It was too dry, so it's like not a cracker anymore. It's just not holding.
aren't crackers dry?
The dough was so dry it was crumbling.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's I don't even know what to call that.
A cracker granola.
Cracker granola.
Cracker dust.
Nice.
Cracker sand. Crack sand.
Did you tell people why you were making this bread for me?
Because you got Hungarian pork fat that is
Yes.
deliciously sliced and goes well with bread companionship.
Yes, it needs to be chewed with bread. I would show you guys, but there's not much to show. It's just a block of pure white fat.
With like a red rind on it.
Salty red rind.
I tasted a bit on bread and it tasted like if you took fatty raw bacon and you combined it with the texture and the rich melting flavors of butter.
Yeah. What she said.
Yeah. I also just have a shit ton of bread flour from King Arthur in the freezer, and it's been sitting there for like a year, so truly just want to use it up once and for all. Any show recommendations? But I don't have any shows. As I told you, we've been watching movies pretty exclusively, and we watched Akira, which I didn't mind. I was like pretty convinced I don't want to watch any more anime stuff, but that's a classic one, and definitely not as devastating as Perfect Blue, which truly traumatized me. What shows did I save?
Is there space for this?
Yes, you can go on the back burner, if that's okay. Do you remember what shows I said seemed to copy the plots of Akira?
There was a lot. What was the thing that was the Inception ripoff? Was that Perfect Blue? That was like very clear. Or Inception was. I copied it.
Are you sure that wasn't Paprika you were thinking about?
Oh, it must have been Paprika.
I think we saw a comparison video of Inception versus Paprika, and there were like 3 scenes in there that are just like shot for shot the same thing.
Did you watch the first episode of Paranoid Agent?
Remind me? I feel like I
With the
did.
baseball bat?
Yes.
And the lady with the, and then you just read the plot summary and get through it.
Yes. That show was terrifying.
Yeah, it was the same guy.
Was it called Paranoia Agent?
I believe so.
It was the same guy as Perfect Blue or Akira?
Paprika, Perfect Blue, and Paranoid Agent.
Yeah, too creepy for me. Too creepy for me. Well, I should cut this one. This one looks like it could be cut. So the water trick did work in the bag, better than me splashing it with my fingers. Still not ideal, obviously. And I also didn't brush this with olive oil. How dare I?
Yeah, you really have to be in a very healthy place to watch Perfect Blue. Otherwise, it will shatter you and like just grind you with the heel of a boot into existential horror, and you'll just sit there huddled, hugging yourself, trying to like resuscitate your soul from feeling absolute. I don't even know if that was a death of sorts, but it truly felt like traumatizing. That I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say I was traumatized after watching Perfect Blue. I felt like disgusted with myself. Not with myself. I just felt. I felt intensely bad. That's the best way I could put it.
Well, that's what our cracker slat looks like. I will let it cool a little bit, and then maybe we have to crumble it and rebake it, but I don't want the edges to get too burnt. I do need this parchment though for rolling out my last batch of cracker dough, so off we go. I love cornbread. Who doesn't like cornbread? How can you not like cornbread? Cornbread is amazing. Cornbread is like the perfect balance of sweet and savory bread and cake, side and main. I could eat cornbread as a main. I could treat cornbread as the main to like a little cup of chili, you know? I could eat it with butter, salt. I could eat it with condensed milk. I could eat it with toasted, crumbly nuts slathered together with peanut butter and honey. Just, you can eat cornbread with everything. Cornbread can be cooked into stuff like stuffing. You can, I don't know, make dumplings with it, even as a leftover. You can make sandwiches with it. I have personally never had spoon bread, but I think I would be into it, for sure. I'm cutting these Ziploc bags open because I'm having a hard time putting them past that Ziploc portion, but also because these are second use bags already. So it's time. It's time to call it quits. Okay, that was a good amount. I think I put in like less than a teaspoon of water into that bag and it got absorbed.
We'll see how it rolls now. But also, I kind of want to taste this. Crunchies. Mmm. Tastes like Weekends. What do you think, Fred? Okay, not worthy. I'm sorry, I failed you. Hi, Freddie. You know, one thing that I really went wrong with this cracker dough, I forgot, is I put almond flour in there, and almond flour really disrupts gluten development, which might have contributed to why my cracker dough didn't really hold being rolled out, because there was probably not a lot of glue holding it together. It's nutty though. How long is the nice guys, Aaron?
Less than 2 hours.
Great. Fantastico. Maybe we can have you have some fresh bread.
Yes, I'd love to.
Can you look up the average baking time for focaccia recipes? Can you cross-reference 3 recipes for me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you trust this website, delish.com?
I don't trust delish.com, no.
Okay. About 25 minutes is what Ryan Handler said.
Oh, I know Ryan. I like Ryan. She's a nice fella. 25 minutes. Can you give me 2 more recipes times?
Bon appetit says 20 to 30 minutes, so basically the same.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, and what temperature?
Food Network says 25 to 30 minutes, or 425.
425.
Delish says 400.
Okay, 400, 425.
And Bonap says 450.
Yeah, I think 450 is nice. I'm gonna go with 450.
You like a nice hot bake.
Well, you like a nice crusty bread, don't ya? You want crusty exterior, moist, fluffy interior.
You like Savour?
Savor?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
They say 400 to 30 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Good to reference. to dry out a little bit more on that tray. Here's what I'm gonna do. Slide that back in, put the timer up for 3 minutes. All right, now we're gonna increase the oven to 375 first. That way we don't burn the crackers immediately. I am going to fetch my timer. I'm gonna set the timer for 5 minutes since we are playing with temperatures here in a time crunch. If I weren't in a time crunch, I would obviously let the crackers bake out before I up the temperature. Because you do risk them burning, but our bread, it's ready to be baked. It's not been bad being back at work. I've been trying to take it easy on myself. Only you can regulate how much you work, so you have to be the one who decides to take it easy on yourself. You have to be the one to protect yourself, unfortunately. So I'm trying to be better about protecting myself. I've been a very lazy butt this Christmas, New Year's break. I didn't even go composting this weekend, but whatever. It'll just have to wait. It's not gonna make or break anyone's lives. Aaron, your tea.
What's up?
Your tea.
Alright. Very out of it today. Woke up early for kitties.
Kitties. Careful, that tray is hot.
Are these baked?
Yes. They're better if you you let them cool, but you can eat them.
Tiny piece. Yeah, very crumble. Honestly, good flavor. Like, I get that they're not, together as a regular cracker, but it tastes great. I don't mind eating those all. I feel like so much of your stuff comes out like not the platonic ideal of what you intended to make, but
Fuck
always
platonic
tastes,
ideals.
but always tastes great. You know?
Platonic ideals are boring. First of all, crackers, unless you're talking like saltines or really bottom of the line stuff, crackers can be quite expensive. Like what I just made could run me, I don't know, $6. It's pretty easy and low maintenance for me to just throw together a dough with random crap that I have on hand that I want to see featured in a cracker. And I can use whatever flours I want. And crackers are a really cool thing to like learn about the flavors of different flours with, because you don't really have to wait for them the way you have to wait for bread. So you can very easily try different batches of cracker dough with featuring different kinds of flour and learn about the flour properties that way. You can learn about how they hydrate, you can learn about their taste. You can try the dough raw to get a sense of what that dough tastes like raw. Then you can bake them to get a sense of what that grain tastes baked. So I just find crackers, also they're so bingeable. Like who doesn't like snacking on crackers all night? Oh, we got burnt crackers. I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen, and it happened anyway. First thing to do with a burnt cracker is to move it off the sheet tray so it stops cooking. Do flavors of crackers translate to breads? Not entirely, because crackers are very dry and they get more toasty, I think, than bread in general. Bread is more hydrated, in the middle it's soft and chewy, so it's going to have a lot more of that like moist grain dough flavor than a cracker would. A cracker is going to be more nutty just by default of it being toasty and crunchy. But still, I think it would give you a good idea of what flavor properties are available in those flours without you having to wait for them in a bread. But obviously, if you want to go ahead and make breads, nobody's stopping you. Can you explain the gluten part? Like, that's how the previous one fell apart due to the almond flour. Yeah. When water meets flour, wheat flour, which has gluten in it, which forms gluten networks once it meets flour, it holds. Gluten is the thing that makes breads chewy. It's the thing that holds the dough structure together. It kind of acts like a protein chain that is basically a glue. Without flour that has gluten in it, You can't form that kind of binding. Almond flour has no gluten. Rice flour has no gluten. Corn flour has no gluten. Rye and spelt have gluten, but they have much less gluten, so they form weaker gluten bonds. So, you know, that's just a trade-off of using different kinds of flours with different gluten levels. All right, well, I burnt some of these, unfortunately. We knew that was going to happen. Still edible, I would say. But I definitely prefer the under toasted crackers more. Mm-hmm. I also used, instead of regular butter or olive oil in this dough, I used some goat butter. So I think that's another ingredient that took this away from the platonic ideal that Aaron was talking about, but I enjoy it still. You can really see in this slightly burnt piece the different grains inside here, the chia, the flax, the millet, the sesame. All right, let's turn up our oven. We're gonna go to 450. And I'm gonna pull out that last sheet of crackers in 3 minutes. Goat butter was from Whole Foods. Yeah, I saw it in Whole Foods one day and I was just like, gotta have it. Pretty puffy. I didn't pop this one on purpose, y'all. I'm not gonna pop it. You want that one burnt bubble. Why would you want a focaccia that doesn't have any burningness on it? You want burniness, okay? Goat cheese is not that gamey because when you eat goat butter is not that gamey. When you eat goat cheese, you're likely going to eat it in a larger amount than you would eat a whole chunk of goat butter. So the gaminess is kind of diluted by default of you using less butter than you would cheese. I'm gonna eat all of these crackers tonight. Yes, the bread is going in as soon as the oven preheats. I'm not sure I'll have time to feature it on the live though, because we are gonna clock out at about 10.
Running a little behind. Let's just put it in. Really not supposed to do that, but we've done a lot of things that we're not supposed to tonight. 25 minutes. There we go. All right, crackers are done. Aaron, would you like more crackers or not?
I'll have one more piece.
You can have a toasty piece or a not toasty piece.
I'll have a regular. Thank you.
You got it.
Oh, this one's staying together. This is a cracker, June.
Yeah, I know. I fixed it somewhat. Not really, but you know, somewhat. I'm glad you like it. Almond flour is usually made with blanched almonds, but you can toast it. I did not toast it, but you can. I'm gonna be lazy tonight. I don't think I'm gonna wash these sheet trays. It's relatively dry and oil free because of the parchment. We're just gonna wipe them. They'll be good to go.
One more, please.
Yes.
They're very addictive.
Uh-huh. So
Surprised.
that's a hot one. Take the layer underneath.
Thank you.
And we'll just eat the toasted almonds. Probably. Have you ever thought what would happen if you hydrated toasted almonds? I have them. Ta-da. I don't know how toasted these are though. You're more than welcome to try them.
Let's try it. Are these the experiment almonds?
What?
Are these aren't all that you toasted, right? One of these?
They're toasted ones. They're just the ones that didn't fit in the jar.
Okay. So these are the experiments.
Mm-hmm.
You can snack on the rest.
Do they taste toasted?
Very mildly.
Will you forgive me if I'm 10 minutes late?
Yeah.
The bread went into the oven late. Oh, they're not very toasted at all, Aaron. I failed.
What?
The toasted almonds are not toasted.
Yeah.
Ready? Would you like a treat? Bud? Okay, no. Here. Give me your paw. 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 Fred. Paw. Thank you. Ow. Jesus Christ. How did you swallow that one already? Calm down. Paw. Paw. Let me hold it. Thank you. Okay. Paw. Paw. Stop licking my hand, you dingus. Thank you. Paw. 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 Thank you. Okay. Did you like your treats? Are you satisfied by your treats, sire? I have no more tonight. No, stop eating my fingies. No fingies. Fred, when did you learn to be this adorable? Now you can swat it all you want. It's closed. Go ahead, swat it. He's not amused. He used to love this toy, and then I showed him greenies again, and he was like, what this? Need greenies. Wow, so bored by me. Don't give me that glare. I gave you some treats. Not all, but some. Some is better than none, right, Fred? Mm-hmm. Oh, 16 minutes. I'm gonna peek. Ooh, it's fluffy. Ooh, that's a tall bread.
and it's sizzling and it's fat. I don't think you can see through the oven window, unfortunately, but we can try. Can you see it? Can you see the dome? The dome of that dough? It's really cold here today too, because it's like 20 something degrees. So it was a good time to turn on the oven. Jarred peanut butter is upside down because that helps the fat settle up and down. You know how the natural peanut butter always has a oil separation layer. So if you flip it upside down, especially if you flip it upside down in the fridge, it will really help that oil redistribute without you having to stir. Yummy, Fred. Yummy paws. Yum, 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 yum. It's really getting at it. So I really recommend that you turn the jar upside down and immediately put it into the fridge. It works much better than if you turn it upside down at room temperature. Alicia Kennedy, who's a writer that I subscribe to the newsletter of, gave this tip for natural peanut butter. She wrote a whole thing on why you shouldn't buy processed peanut butter that's like Jif and Skippy. But after my peanut butter taste test, I hate to say it, but I'm kind of addicted to that kind of processed taste again. They really spend that money to figure out what you like, and they just make it so cheap and accessible. So let this be a lesson to you all that you really shouldn't be impatient when making crackers, because you will burn half the shit, and then you will be very, 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 very sad and disappointed with yourself. So just don't rush things, okay? Don't rush them. They will burn. You will be sad. And then you will bring more misery to yourself, like you are always want to do. If we are the master of anything, it is self-manufactured misery, isn't it? Budget Eats usually takes a month to produce. Sometimes 6 weeks, especially if we've just had a week plus of break, like Christmas and New Year's. So I would not hold your breath. Should be early February, but I cannot make promises. You'll just have to be patient, guys. That's like the number one asked question of me. It's not something that I determine. It's a whole team behind it. So it's several people working to finish that product. explained the breakdown of a Budget Eats production before? So think about it. Budget Eats entails about a week of cooking, right? Most of the episodes are me cooking for a whole week, so it takes me a whole week to shoot. Usually I'm shooting realistically 2 to 3 meals a day, because that's usually how many meals people eat. Which means that I have to cook those meals on top of shooting them, which means for a whole week straight I work about 16 hours per day. Because I have to shoot it, I have to cook it, I have to clean it, I have to organize the video files, I have to transfer the video files, I have to take notes about what I did, what I changed, roughly what recipes that I used in case I need to write up those recipes later. I have to write up a summary for delish.com as a write-up. And then I have to think about what I need to do the next day, because especially shooting in the wintertime, daylight is limited to certain hours of the day. The sun starts setting around 3:30. By 4 it's completely dark outside. You basically can't shoot much. After I shoot for an entire week, Zach, our video editor, gets that footage. He starts downloading it. So I upload the footage, he downloads the footage. Once he downloads the footage, he has to watch basically all of the footage in order to know how to put it together. I do organize the video files in folders and subfolders so that it's a little bit less confusing for him, but as a video editor, you basically have to look at the material you're given in order to know what to do with it. He watches the whole thing that I filmed over the course of a week, cuts it together into a rough draft, sends it to Julia and me so that we could look over it and start recommending cuts, while he starts reaching out to Vineet, who's our animator, and me or Julia reaches out to Allie. Well, Allie's no longer with us. She moved on to another job. We reach out to our graphic designers for the graphics for the grocery haul that you see, and they start making those elements. And then Zach starts looking for music to cut into the video. He gets all the notes from Julia and me for the first pass. He adds the music. He gives us a second pass. We have to watch it. It takes about twice as long to watch the footage and comment on it than it does for you to just watch it. So if the first version is 90 minutes, it takes Julia and me 3 hours to watch that first cut. Zach gives us a second cut. It takes another 3 hours for us to watch that. And then slowly we finally get to about version 4, which then gets finalized. So it's a lot. And you have to think that Delish is a big food media company that has to make money in various ways. So Budget Eats is not the only project that we're doing. While we're doing it, we're simultaneously working on other projects, like me as a part of the kitchen team has to video shoot other recipe videos that's not Budget Eats, that doesn't always go on YouTube. I have to develop recipes. I have to retest recipes. I have to shoot photos sometimes for those recipes so that they can go live ASAP before they get shot by professional photographers. Julia is our director of video, so she's responsible for everything that goes on site at delish.com and on our YouTube channel. So it's just a lot of working parts. Our graphic designers are worked to shreds. There's just so many projects that need their eyeballs and their talent and their time, and everybody's demanding everything of them all the time. Zach and all the other video editors have like a gabillion projects being handed to them all the time. So it's just like 6 different lanes we're driving all the time. That's why we burn out. And that's why we're unionizing, so we can stop fucking burning out. But that's also why we have to just like individually stand up for ourselves and for each other and be like, hey, do you gotta work this much? Do you? Oh, our timer went off. But why didn't it, did it beep? Did our timer beep? Yikes. Okay, you guys ready to see the reveal? Aaron, are you ready to see the reveal?
Okay, I hope it's done. I think it's done. Oh God.
That's looking good, June.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very curious how the interior is gonna look.
Me too, but we gotta let it cool, I think. Oh,
It's
wait a
darker
bit.
than I expected.
Yes, the timer went off and it didn't beep. Sizzle, sizzle though.
Your little handheld timer?
No, the
Oh.
oven timer.
Weird.
There's a lot of oil on the bottom of that.
Yeah, I love that sizzle.
Fry.
What is olive, right? Obviously for focaccia.
Yes.
Oh, that looks bouncy as hell. That almost looks like a souffle or something.
A souffle, you say? Oh shit. Where's the thermometer that works? And why doesn't that one work?
Your timers and thermometers breaking, June.
Bread should always reach about 190 to 210 degrees Fahrenheit internal temperature. That's around when water boils, so that's how you know that there's no wet dough inside. We're there. 195, 199, 203, 205, 207, 209, 210. Yeah, we're there. We're definitely there. And then when you pull out the thermometer, it should pull out relatively clean, but because this is a high moisture, high hydration bread, there's a little bit of gooiness, but I think because we kind of overbaked it, once it cools, it'll be fine. All right, cue up the movie, friends. Sorry, hold on. I'm going to turn off the water so I can hear you. Because I cannot hear you now. What'd you say? We can, but it's very hot right now, so if you're going to taste it now, we're going to have to wait. I would say 10 minutes.
Okay.
Start the movie now or then?
Now.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna throw our almonds back in the oven that is off right now, and
They'll see on your Insta.
yeah, I'll do an Instagram story of what it looks like inside. Okay, we gotta let it cool. So we're off to see our movie. Have a good night, guys. Thank you for joining me. Happy Monday. Happy Tuesday to come. Happy New Year. Happy take care of yourself for the rest of your life. Bye.